succubus, and that's what a succubus looks like. Very, very attractive, but will drain you dry. Who wants to make an RPG? Yeah, don't do it. Don't listen to the siren song of the RPG call, because you won't succeed. And I tell you that, honestly, you won't succeed right now, because, and it's not, I'm not trying to be mean, everybody I've known who's ever tried to make an RPG or an MMO has not succeeded. So why don't we just screw that and save it for later? Don't kill your dreams, just, change the shape of the dream cloud, and right now work on stuff that you can finish. Wouldn't you rather have 5 polished small games to show than this one kind of half-assed, well, she runs, but the run cycle's half finished, and this is where the enemy's supposed to be that you're fighting. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody's going to really make a big deal about you if that's all you have to show for it. 5 small finished games, though, hey, that's something. One small finished game totally kills 100 completely unfinished games that nobody cares about, they don't play properly, and they don't look good. And the idea that you have for a small game is not a small game. I talk to students a lot, and they say, yeah, I'm gonna do a little game. It's going to be like Halo, except without so many levels. And I go, oh yeah, so you're really toning it down there. And they say, yeah. And instead of 14 guns, I'm going to do I'll do like 7 guns. I'll really limit it. So the heart's in the right place. It's a good idea to think limiting, but instead of doing you think of a house and they want to do a brick on a house, you should really be thinking about the spec of brick material that goes into making that brick, and that's what you want to try building and finishing. And Andy made some really good comments yesterday about how he just made something, got it up really quickly, and spent 3 months on polish. That's really what you want to do. So think about these games. These games predate a lot of you, but this is sort of when I started getting into gaming, was the Atari 2600 era. And they were like, this is what you want to think of. When I say think small, this is what small looks like. This is a game called Crackpots. The graphics are ass, but whatever, you can put different pictures on it, right? Put a better skin. The way this one works is there are spiders, and they want to go to the top of the wall, and you're a dude, and you don't want the spiders to go to the top of the wall. In order to achieve that goal as the dude, you go to a plant pot and hit the joystick button, and the plant pot falls down. And if on its way down it connects with the spider goes away, but there are more spiders, right? with every level, right, the spiders get faster. That's small, but that's something that you can finish. That's something that you can do 2, maybe 3 tutorials on Flash to figure out how to do and actually get that done, and then go through all the stuff we were talking about yesterday, put it up on Flash game license, see if somebody will give you a couple $100 for it. It might happen, could very well happen. Here's another one. It's the Atari 2600 port of, does anyone know what that game is?
Dig Dug.
Yeah, Dig Dug, alright, yeah, you guys are great. This is awesome. So Dig Dug, you're a dude, and you have like an air hose, and there are monsters that want to eat your face and don't like air. So you run up to the monsters, and when you go through the strata of the earth, he digs a hole. So it's just basically tile-based, and it's removing a chunk to indicate a hole with a black background showing through. When you meet a bad guy, you hit the button like mad, and it inflates the bad guy, and he pops. And you have to pop all the bad guys. And there's a life counter down here, and a score counter down here. And enemies get faster with every level. That's thinking small. It's something you can do. Please tell me somebody knows what this is.
Yar's Revenge.
Yar's Revenge, baby! Who said that? I love you. This is one of my favorite games of all time. It's an Atari 2600 game. A little more complicated than most of them, but so the deal is, you're a dude. You're this thing over here, this little fly spaceship, and that's the bad thing over there, that yellow thing, and it's protected by a big brick wall. So you can come up to the brick wall and you can shoot it and knock little chunks out of it, or you can, this is weird, you can you can nibble the brick wall. So you can bump your spaceship into it and kind of like takes little chunks out of it, and you have to get this wall down, and every once in a while the good guys kill you. It's bizarre. So the good guys have this big, how does it work? Oh yeah. So this thing turns into a big swirling, scary missile thing, and it targets you, and you have to jump out of the way. And you eventually have to whittle the wall down so that the good guys can just blast that yellow starship in the middle, right? So it's a little bit more complicated, but still really within your ken to do. Maybe that's a little like a week of learning Flash, and then you can put something like that together. Very cool. That's thinking small. Sell your games today. Today, if you don't have those small games, go build them and sell your games tomorrow, because it's not going to take you long. So we talked about Flash game license yesterday. If you were in Andy's session, you heard a bit more about that. Motion media, some of you were really blown away by Carl's talk on AdMob, about the iPhone stuff. Motion media is that exact thing, except for web games, so injecting ads into Flash. Money's not there, I'll talk about that in a bit. GamerSafe is another one. HeyZap, put a .com at the end of any of these and check them out. HeyZap and Nova, GamerSafe, Motion Media, HeyZap and Nova all do microtransactions. So they have the systems where you just put the code in your game and it enables people to click on things and to pay real world money for your virtual crap, which is awesome. Because it takes no supplies. You don't have to go hew a tree and make a piece of furniture. You can draw a piece of furniture and people pay you money for it. Awesome. Xbox Live Indie Games, most of you know about. Woogly, you might not know, is a site, it's a portal for Unity games. So if you learn more Unity, that's one place where you can stick your Unity games. The Android Marketplace, I talked about a bit yesterday. The App Store, you may have heard of. And Dime Rocker is an interesting thing that you might not know about. Dime Rocker is like, there's a portal called MindJolt. And MindJolt will take your Flash game and put it on Facebook, and because everybody and their dog is on Facebook, you get tons of plays, and you actually have a game on MindJolt. You just have to send them an email. If they like your game, they'll put it on the service, right? No problem. When you do get lined up with them and they put it on the service and it goes up through Facebook, since the player base is so huge, you'll look at your Motion Media graph, and Motion Media gives you a graph of like how many fractions of pennies you're making a day on your game, and you'll just get this huge spike as soon as it hits MindJolt, so that's great. Dime Rocker is trying to be the MindJolt for Unity games, right? So all this Unity stuff is brand new. It's not perfect yet. It's not even as good as Flash is, but it's getting there. So it's one more thing to investigate. DimeRocker.com. Oh my God, that's a terrible. Look at that. That's a crying shame right there. Choose your placement wisely, your work placement, because that's where you're going to end up for the next 2 to 5 years, maybe 10. Maybe New Brunswick, I'm not too sure how it works, but that's what happened to me, is what happened to all of my fellow students. And some of them, there was like 1, maybe 2 good placements that the college could hook up for students. And the guys who got those placements, they were working at like Sportsnet or something like that, making graphics. And you know, they were set for the next 10 years in cushy jobs. And the rest of us were like, we made these excuses like, well, you know, my uncle runs a trucking plant and they use computers to schedule the trucks, so it's kind of related. And then friggin' there's that person out of the industry and they're working at uncle's trucking plant for the rest of their life. So really, really, really be careful with this placement. You won't get an opportunity like this again, likely, because once you're not a student, nobody's going to give you the time of day, right? You're just another unemployed schlub. So make the most of this. And if there's a placement here, whether it's at the base or with you know, whatever's going on with Jalloo or whatever else is happening, if there's a placement and it's like a hot placement and everyone wants it, you go get it. Don't let somebody else go get it and think, oh, you know, I'll work there eventually because I know Steve who works there. Go get it. Be the best in your class and be the most valuable, and go get that placement because it's very, very valuable. Oh yeah, you don't want to be that guy. That guy spilled mustard. Prepare to be a lifelong learner, because the crap you learn today is going to be done in 10 years. 10 years later, it'll be like, oh, you know what? C++ is for morons. Oh my God, you got to use like CZZXY. And if you don't know CZZXY, then you're a moron, right? So you're going to have to, in 10 years, you're going to have to bite the bullet, buy a book, and learn CZZXY, or else you'll get laughed at. So that's happened to a lot of visual studio developers. It's happening now to Flash developers, people like me who learned Flash, you know, going back 10 years. Suddenly Steve Jobs says it's not cool, so we have to go learn something else. It kind of stinks, but be prepared for that. It's not something like plumbing, where toilet technology just generally doesn't change. People sit, and we're not going to, you know, convert to hanging upside down and standing to pee. So they don't have to do anything new, right? Maybe copper changes, I don't know, but they don't have to constantly upgrade. You do. Exercise and eat well now, because it's a very unhealthy job. You're going to be sitting most of the time. So if you're the outdoorsy type, or if you can cut any sugar, salt, or fat in your diet, good idea. Really good idea. You don't want to be that guy. He spills mustard. And then a couple of tips on networking, and I found these very useful. This is all tips. I'm not trying to preach. This is just stuff people have told me. It's worked out really well. This is a great tip somebody gave me. Everybody is important. I've gone I've gone to some places where I went to a student show. I remember just really recently, and the instructor knew me, and he said, "Oh yeah, go in and go check out the student work." And then about 5 minutes later, two people from two more well-known studios showed up, and he said, everybody, I have an announcement to make. So-and-so and so-and-so are here from such and such studios. Right? And it's like, oh, what the hell? What am I doing, chopped liver? I was actually in a position to hire students that day. And so, students were giving these guys, all the love and care and attention and treating them like they were the biggest VIPs. But you don't know who's going to be in the room. You don't know who's in a position to hire you tomorrow and who's really searching and looking. And you don't know, even if they're not in a position to search and look, you don't know who in 2 years is going to remember you from that awesome conversation you had about your Bichon Frise puppy, who really dug you and wants to hire you 2 years later who's in that position. Everybody's important. Everybody in this world is important. Don't treat anybody like an also-ran. I always think when you're talking to somebody, what's in it for that person? So don't go on about yourself all the time. This is another tip that a friend of mine, his dad gave me. He's excellent at business stuff. So when you talk to somebody, it shouldn't be like, check me out, I just graduated, here's my portfolio, do you have a job for me, this is what I'm really good at. Instead, try thinking like, oh, you have kids, I have a niece who's that age, do you like to play little people with them? That's really what you should be doing. And business is all about solving problems, so you should find out problems that people have. So if they're not looking for an animator, but damn, they need somebody to sweep their floor, you're the guy, you're the girl, man, I can sweep your floor because I want to be around those animators. Or if you find out that they have this other bizarre problem, like they've got this rigger who's really good and you want to do rigging, but they've already got the position filled, but he loves heroin and he needs a handler to change his diaper. I don't know, this is a bizarre scenario, but you know what I mean? So you don't know what problems you can possibly solve unless you invest in somebody and ask what they're all about. And make it all about them in the conversation. So the more you learn about other people, the more you learn about their problems, and the more you learn how you can be useful to them and solve their problems. Nobody wants to hear about you all the time, or me, thank God. Turn off the sleaze. I have a couple of colleagues who run this company, and they're all business. Man, they go and they dig daddy's suit out of the closet, and they get all spickered up, and whenever they go out to things, I see them at events all the time.